are again at Mount Manitoba, the home of NotInHallOfFame.com, and of course the sister sites, the Fictitious Athlete Hall of Fame, which will have some interesting news in the upcoming weeks, the Fictitious Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which will also have some interesting news in the upcoming weeks. And I encourage you to do this right after you've listened to the show. Go to www.NotInHallOfFame.com/USA, and you can vote.
USA.
Yes, and you can vote like Brad will. And he's already done, and I'm sure Andrea has already done that too, for the United States Athletic Hall of Fame. You will be part of true democracy in action. There is no electoral college in this, you see, and you will decide who is part of the first ever class, who is the great American athletes of our time. You all decide that, because someone had to trademark it, so I did.
Harlem Globetrotters.
Who plays what sport?
Well, they can play any. Well, there's 17 sports represented.
Okay. I didn't know there were 17 sports.
There are 17 sports. That there's a lot more that you don't watch, but yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah. Boxing, basketball, baseball, hockey, football, amateur wrestling, billiards. There's a billiard nominee.
I like the fact they named the game cornhole.
There's no cornhole player in this.
Oh. It's not a good name. Like, you don't want to ask your friends and relatives if they would like to go out in the back and play cornhole.
Speaking of cornhole,
Ding, 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 ding.
You sure do got a pretty mouth.
Uh-huh. But with that, I'm here with someone who might have a secret, and someone who is the Modern Man.
Which one of us has the secret? And why is Andrea Modern?
And do either of you have parts made in Japan?
No.
No.
I think I left some stuff.
Nothing attached to me currently.
But anyway, moving on. We're looking at Styx, Mr. Roboto. Possibly their most known hit, their most successful hit. This went number 3. I don't believe they ever had anything that charted higher than this. But it's also a song that has, well, it pretty much led to the band breaking up.
It was their Yoko moment.
One might say they jumped the shark.
You might say that. Critics will tell you that they never were even around the shark, that the shark should have ate them. Styx is despised by critics, always have been. And unfortunately, sometimes when bands are despised, they try to appease the critics. I don't know if that's necessarily what they were trying to do here, but I know when Kiss did a concept album in 1981, that's kind of what they said they were trying to do. And it didn't work out very well. This one, though, did generate a hit. A very confused hit. Now, Brad and I, we, again, being of similar age, for us, being, well, me, 51, a little older than Brad, but that was our first introduction to Kiss. Because
I'm only 30, dude.
Styx. Just Styx, sorry. Only 30, man.
Yeah, 30. Yeah, 100%.
Sure, Brad.
Mm-hmm.
The age gap.
I knew you at 30. Your hairline was a lot different.
Oh,
the age
shiny
gap
metal ass.
Look, the age gap between you and 30 is actually legal, so I could fuck it. But anyway.
just.
Okay.
2 years.
Not that I would.
But yes, this was what introduced me to Styx, and then after that, I discovered stuff like Renegade, and that made me happier. And it's funny because I used to love Mr. Roboto, but then their other stuff really, as I got older, their other stuff was way more interesting to me, and Mr. Roboto was kind of like, yeah, maybe I don't like this as much as I thought I did.
I saw that it was really, I don't know if it was meant to appease the critics, but it was kind of supposed to appeal to the younger fans, and a lot of their older fans were not impressed.
Yeah,
they were not. Brad, and before we went on, because we are, like always, we're waiting for Andrea.
Hey, it is what it is.
So we had a pre-convo, and we figured out that this was Styx's 10th album.
We want to call it like foreplay.
Wasn't it their 11th album?
Well, maybe it was their 11th album. I don't know. Either way, it was a lot of albums. They've been around for a long time, but they actually formed in the mid-'60s, which I didn't know. So these are guys who are, except for Tommy Shaw. I just want to point out, I think Tommy Shaw and David Spade have to be related somehow. They have to be.
Well, like I was saying to you, speaking of like, weird, crappy celebrities in the mix on this one here, like I was saying to you before, Kirk, I watched the episode of, or the section of the movie that you had sent over in the group chat in the Nerdcast, and I watched that, and like I said, it's not the worst thing I've ever watched, but I was waiting for Tommy Wiseau to pop in.
Yeah, so what we're referring to is if you went to a Styx concert during this tour, you were treated.
You were not treated.
In air quotes for those.
You were subjected to. There was some shit that violated the Geneva Convention going on there.
A 9-minute intro of, well, basically, this is, I guess maybe before we get to the 9-minute video, this was Dennis DeYoung's brainchild. And essentially, at this point, he'd taken over the reins of the band completely. And this was his idea. Nobody else knew how to write. As Tommy Shaw said, I don't know how to write about robots. I don't.
Well, robots need love too.
So
they want to be loved by you.
Just you. And nobody else?
No, you missed it. Dan Mangan, a song called Robots.
Oh. I like my version better.
You could go with boop 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 doo if you wanted to.
Thank you.
We got it. We didn't like it, but we got it.
Fine.
But yeah, I sat and I watched this thing that you sent over, and it was hot garbage.
I
would rather masturbate with a cheese grater than watch it again.
I'm tied with that. I don't know. It was really awful. I heard about it in another review, but I didn't actually watch it until I decided that this is the song we're doing. In this promo video, it actually explains what the hell the song's about.
Yes.
So at least we got that.
All
this time he's saying thank you to the Mr. Roboto, but he impaled the damn robot.
He kicked the robot in the nuts.
And he gutted it so that he could climb inside its corpse. He tauntauned it.
He tauntauned it. Nice.
I had holy Empire Strikes Back. See, that's what
do you guys know the temperature of the inside of a tauntaun?
I don't know. It smells really bad.
So, Kirk, are you just shocked that I'm the one that came up with the Star Wars reference there?
He knows the Star Wars.
We've never talked Star Wars.
Oh, fair. Okay.
So no, I did not know that you were part of that sort of geek squad there. I'm very impressed.
Anyway, back to Mr. Roboto.
Yes, back to Mr. Roboto. Well, the video sort of also, it sets in the dystopian future, or is it? Dun 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 dun.
Where and Dennis DeYoung says,
"Yeah, Jesus." He said he was inspired from a tour going into Japan. Just how technology was, and keep in mind the early '80s, there was a legit fear that Japan was going to take over the world. And if you don't believe me, go watch Blade Runner. That's what they thought it was going to be.
Hey, Blade Runner's awesome, man.
It is awesome.
Like Tears in the Rain.
But like you introduce that to somebody who's much younger, and they're going to say, like, why is everything Japanese? Shouldn't it be Chinese?
No, because back in the day, in the 80s, like the mid 80s,
but I'm saying
you get everything being made in Japan.
Right, but I'm saying if you introduce that to your kid, right? Because in her entire life, Japan is not Japan. Arguably, they're not even the second most influential country in the region anymore.
No, but there for a while, man, we were concerned about all the manufacturing coming in from the J.A. Pan company.
That's right. So he was inspired by a lot of that, just increasing technology.
Can we talk about the main character's name for a moment?
Oh, Kilroy? Yeah, please.
No, Robert Orrin Charles Kilroy.
Oh, yeah.
ROCK in the USA. Yeah. I mean, that was deep, man. That was like 5 joints deep. 5 joints of 80s weed deep.
You think? I don't even know that Dennis DeYoung is even somebody who did a lot of drugs.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, he's still with his same wife. of all this time, which is pretty cool.
But he should not have tried to write a musical or a rock opera. He should not have
tried to write a musical, and that's essentially what he did. So he's inspired by Japan taking over the world, futuristic concepts, and apparently,
the moral majority basically is what he's
on. Right, because there was a group. Well, there's always been sort of a group that's been sort of worried about lyrics, like bands and having horrible influences. And I think Styx got named because Styx is named after the river in hell.
The river Styx, absolutely.
Styx, right.
And technically, it's not the river in hell. That's just the underworld, and it's only to carry the dead on to the next life.
Haven't been.
No. But it is why they were getting censored, because the Christian right didn't like the fact that in their minds it's a reference to hell.
Well, this is also during the time of the Satanic Panic, when D&D was viewed as like devil worship.
Was it?
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, the 80s was rough on the nerdy.
Do you remember when E.T. came out and they were playing D&D, and there was a backlash publicly about them promoting D&D and Satan worship in the movie?
I haven't watched it, and last time I watched it was probably the same time I watched this music video.
I love D&D, man.
So yeah, censorship is kind of the core of what this whole bullshit is about. He is a rock star that has been jailed by the What?
Dr. Righteous, that's the character.
Yeah, it's the MMM, the Majority for Musical Morality.
Yes,
which is basically a double-fingered eye poke at the moral majority. And Opal is awesome.
Yes, Opal says hello, sort of.
You know, when I think of the rock god who is corrupting everybody, the first thing I think of is Dennis DeYoung.
No, you think of Ozzy. You think of Alice Cooper around that time.
Oh, that was when I think Alice Cooper, he tried his new wave album. Listen to that. It's actually kind of interesting.
Cooper had a new wave album?
Yes, he did. Flush the Fashion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, actually, I think it was 2 years before, but yeah, he tried something a little different.
First time I ever saw Alice Cooper was on the Muppet Show.
Nice.
Yeah, he did. Did he do well? Yeah, I think he did Welcome to My Nightmare.
He was. He said to Jasper, "Oh, good-looking pup."
That's right.
So this 9-minute video it's basically it's an abortion. I don't know what else to say here. Tommy Shaw plays Jonathan Chance. There's another great name.
Yes, he does.
And he takes a chance and he helps get him. What did he do? He didn't even really help him.
He showed up at the old Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Basically, they broke in there to try to meet or to try to see some of the old acts and what have you, and they're demonizing Elvis Presley in there, and they're talking about anyway. Then they unmask Robert Warren Charles Kilroy, and he's underneath the robot mask, and they're like, "Oh,
I'm Kilroy!
Yeah,
Kilroy!"
Yeah.
And the crowd went wild.
Well, the crowd went wild.
They did, because we watched how they would do this every show for this tour, and then just bleed right into that where you got.
You ever have one of those videos that you're watching where you're looking at the progress bar at the end and going, it's not near close enough to finish?
I have.
Yeah.
And I made the mistake too. I was telling Brad before you joined. I found the whole concert of that. And
dear.
Oh, it's awful, because that's not the only skit they do.
Oh,
yeah, I love that it's a skit.
It's a skit. I mean, like, that's what they were calling it. Basically, like, you were doing this fucking Shakespeare. I mean, Tommy Shaw said that basically he was doing a lot more coke than before.
This could only be coke and LSD.
Yeah, or something.
It was no, I mean it got massive airplay. It charted. It did well
in Canada.
Yeah, so I think it was because it found the younger fans. It was the synth rock and what have you, and the younger fans wanted more. Yeah, and the old fans, they kind of didn't like it. They kept on the back catalogs.
So this was never intended to be released as a single. It was entirely built for the shtick of the opening the concert. And it
Well, the
was,
Who did Tommy, and that went really well. Pink Floyd
but
did The Wall.
yeah, but this
They're
was
not,
not
these guys
intended to be
aren't Pink
released
Floyd.
as a, no. And so it was, I think his kids or someone that was like, this is great, you got to release it. And so they swapped out they swapped out a song on the album for it and then released it as a single because it went over so well. But it was
first release too, so it was their first single from the album.
Yeah.
It's apparently caused a lot of friction within the band because, again, the other band members had no idea. Well, like, because you get JT Young, who is, and Tommy Shaw, who were pretty much the creative people behind that, along with DeYoung, and the Panazzo brothers, who just didn't give a fuck. Okay, we'll just play.
You got to give them credit, though. I mean, I think during their time, Styx did pretty well. And yeah, did they become a punchline at the end? Absolutely, they did. But you either live long enough to see you die a hero, or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
I prefer their end than Chicago's.
Or what did Chicago do? Like, they split. Peter Cetera did his thing.
Yeah, but that's when Peter Cetera pretty much took over, and then everything was the sappy ballad. I mean, like, so wimpy. He made well, basically,
Glory of Love, baby.
He made Dennis DeYoung look like Rocky, but of course, Dennis DeYoung did knock out. He did knock out Impale and Skin a Robot. So there you go.
That's true. Kick the robot in the balls.
I don't know how they watch this back and any of them thinking, well, Tommy Shaw hated it, but I don't know how Dennis DeYoung looks at this and says, man, I was great in this.
Let us show this to the public.
He was a modern man.
Well, he was a modern.
Let's talk about that. What the fuck? There's no mannequin. There's no modern. What the hell?
He was being fancy. He was talking fancy. It's like how the Brits say aluminium.
Okay, but at least with when you do mannequin, it's rhyming with everything. You already had man at the end. You don't need to change this.
No, you could have just been a modern man. But I am the modern man. So I guess he was being fancy. I don't know. But it is. I mean, it's definitely going, like, it's in shark territory. It might only be at the aquarium near the shark tank and having somebody, jumping near it. But like, they didn't totally Fonzie over the top of this thing, but they did mess around near some sharks for sure.
I don't even hate this song, but I think it's cheesy as shit. It's embarrassing in some ways.
It detracts from their previous work, I think.
I think a lot of people who were fans of that band would agree with you on that. I've been trying forever to find this Will Ferrell thing on Saturday Night Live, and I can't find it. I haven't been trying that hard, otherwise I would have found it. And it's basically Ferrell's playing some pitchman talking about when bands went to shit. And you hear all these great songs, including Mr. Roboto by Styx. So I've been trying to remember some of the other ones. It was something else by Chicago and just all sorts of crap like that. Tommy Shaw would eventually leave. He almost wanted to leave did leave apparently during the tour. Just I can't do this every night. I hate this. Did leave the band. He would come back, but then they were never the same. They would go their separate ways. Dennis DeYoung did his solo work. So did Tommy Shaw. Well, Tommy Shaw would join Damn Yankees.
I think Styx's worst song is this one, tied with Sailing Away.
For me, it's Babe. I hate Babe.
Oh, Babe isn't good either, but
Babe is way worse. I kind of like Come Sail Away.
I
always hear Cartman's voice in it now.
I'm sailing away.
That's the one. So this one, I think their best, one of my favorites, has got to be Renegade.
Yeah, that's my top two, along with Blue Collar Man.
Blue Collar Man's good, but Renegade still tops it for me. Just the rhythm of that one, I love it.
Yeah, they use that in Billy Madison.
Well, okay.
Oh, yeah, Billy Madison. Yeah, it was that. So they would eventually did reunite without Shaw, and then they had one other minor hit that I can't remember because it's not that wasn't it was another one like typical Dennis DeYoung stuff. I've been pouring through interviews of him, and he's basically like, "Oh, I'll get back together with them."
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he would love to. He would love to sort of do that. But they eventually booted him out again, and then for good. And then I saw another interview where Tommy Shaw was just being interviewed. This was only a couple years ago, and there's this guy who probably did no research. He says, I've always wondered what's the deal with Mr. Roboto? And Tommy Shaw goes, I got no idea.
I can't tell you.
Yeah,
I just can't tell you.
Yeah, so they were Shaw and Young have trashed DeYoung. DeYoung hasn't. What I found really interesting though too is I mentioned to Brad, I saw Styx about, God, it would have been 10 years ago at one of the casinos. And they didn't play this. And then I would find out later why. Basically, they just eliminated a lot of Dennis DeYoung's bits. Larry Gowan is actually the.
Gowan. Criminal Mind, baby.
They played that.
I love Criminal Mind. Funny enough, when I was DJing in Prince George, trying to get on the radio, I was at a radio station up there, and small market radio, they can only afford so much because you got to pay per song. So you're buying X amount of hits and what have you that you can play, and then you got to throw on all your CanCon and stuff like that. And Prince George was 101.3 Hits FM. And it was the only station where I have heard Lawrence Gowan, Criminal Mind, and Britney Spears, Baby One More Time, back to back. This was 1999, and it was bookended, those two songs. So we had Criminal Mind first, and I'm grooving out, and then baby.
How are you supposed to know?
It's jarring.
So will they ever get back together? Probably not. Dennis DeYoung's near 80 at this point.
Yeah, but they're still touring.
Yeah, they're still touring, but so is Dennis DeYoung. He's still performing. He can't to the same ability that he used to. He was super sick, so he says he actually got fired the last time. He said, look, when they were doing another reunion in the late 90s, and that's when they hired Gowan to replace him. He would later sort of state that Tommy Shaw basically needed money. Whether that's true or not, well, probably. It probably is. But he was really sick. It turned out that whatever it was that he had has left him where his senses are having trouble. He can't taste, he can't smell, and he pretty much has to wear sunglasses almost all the time.
The opposite of Spider-Man.
I suppose.
He probably got bit by a slug.
That would be a comic book.
Radioactive slug.
Slug man does whatever
a slug can. Leaves a trail right behind.
You didn't even prep this. That's awesome.
So this was crap. This was an adventure down Crap Boulevard. We wound up in a crap little cul-de-sac, and we played around the crap for a bit. I will still listen to the song if it comes on. I just never want to watch that skit again, ever.
Well, watch the other ones. They're even worse.
No, I will not.
When they do that in the concert while they're playing their other hits from previous albums, it is. I can't even imagine being a Styx fan, and because this is no internet back then, you don't even know anything that's going on. It's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. I didn't come to this movie.
So yeah, it really hurt. Apparently they lost a shit ton of money on that too. But anyway.
Oh, well, probably it was crap.
But again, a monster hit. Enduring. I want to close off with a few other things here with this. And some of the research I did, I came across a really badly written article on Medium, which was saying even where they were talking about how the song was racist.
Well,
I didn't.
It kind of is.
Well, the time, okay, but the guy's reasoning for it was everything that was going on around it, not actually anything from the song itself. So,
okay, so the song itself, not so much. The video, definitely. As soon as you see the android, that is a caricature of it. Like I said before, Mr. Roboto. Yeah, it's a 1930s Japanese racist caricature combined with a robot and a samurai.
Yeah, and also in that skit too. But your mother was a Toyota. I'm trying to do my Dennis DeYoung here.
Yeah.
And then when he beats up the robot, he's saying something in Japanese. Because when he beats up the robot, he kicks the robot, and then Brad and I were noticing they kicked him in the nuts. Good
now,
thing that they sort
I don't think robots have nuts, but I know that Wolfman's got nards.
Wolfman Jack?
Monster Squad. From like the late 80s. Had one of the little Brat Pack kids and one of the Corys or something like that. Anyway, there's like, kick him in the nards. Wolfman doesn't have nards. And one of the kids kicks him in the nuts, and Wolfman bends over and is like, oh, Wolfman's got nards. So
sorry,
I just acted out the best part of the movie for you.
I'm definitely Homer in that a man gets hit in the crotch with football. That shit will always work. Saying that, yeah. So I kind of was. Now I'm not saying Styx is racist. I don't think they are at all.
It was at the time there was the whole Japanic going on where, Japan's going to take over the world, like you were saying before, with the idea of Blade Runner, with the idea of everything everything on the shelves was, any electronics were made by the Japan company. It's all of that stuff. So there was that fear, in much the same way that right now we have the fear of having outsourced all of our manufacturing to China. And so there's the whole fear of China on the horizon in much the same way.
Yeah, just with a lot less racism, or maybe a lot more, depending on your point of view, I guess. I don't know.
Depending on who you hang out with, yeah. What channel you watch.
Oh, it doesn't matter what news channel you're watching. Everything they just claim different groups are racist. That's the only difference.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, when it comes right down to it,
it's not a political show, nor do I wish to do one.
This song was poo. By itself was okay.
Guilty pleasure poop, but poop nevertheless.
Yeah, it's one of those good poops where you're happy when it's done.
Especially with that skit. It's one of those things where, like, I never liked this sentence. I watched it, so you have to. But this might apply here.
Sometimes I play into that. It's like when you open the fridge and take out the milk and sniff it, and you're like, oh, and you're like, hey, does this smell bad to you?
See, now, wait. When a woman hands you something and says, smell this, it's usually something that smells good. And when a guy does it, it's like his balls or a foot or bad dairy.
Dutch oven.
Dutch oven, yeah. Hey, smell this.
But when we do it, it's okay. When women do it, it's just disgusting.
Okay, if a woman Dutch ovened me, I don't know that I'm going to say I would fall in love, but there would be mad fucking respect.
Well, that Pornhub history just became a little bit more clear, didn't it, on search words?
Well, I didn't know you hacked my account. Did you know there's a website out there called Cake Farts, or at least there used to be? And it's exactly what you think it would be.
Look,
people farting on cakes?
Yeah, it's people sitting down on a cake and farting.
I'm not going to ask why you know this.
You already know why he knows this.
I know I never spent a lot of time on it, but I'm kind of curious to know if anybody's ever tried a Dairy Queen cake.
To fart on a Dairy Queen cake?
Yeah, because not only would you get a really cool juicy noise as your ass melted the ice cream, but if you sit on things cold long enough, you get Polaroids.
Oh, that doesn't actually sound so bad.
Come on, Polaroids, send out something cold.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah, no. Anywho, I guess we can move on here unless there's any more parting discussion.
Moving right along.
Oh, Miss Tessmann.
Yes, Mr. Kirk.
You got my last name?
It's right on the screen.
I wasn't sure.
Buchner?
That's all right. That's why this
In
is
the Buchnerverse?
There you go. Which is also the name of my fantasy football team that's started the season 1 and 2, but god damn it. But anyway, what do we got next week?
Well, I have a question for you. Have you heard about the word?
Oh, bird is the word.
So watching a lot of
a bird, a bird is the word. A bird.
Okay.
This is going to be stuck in my head now for way too long because it earworms. This song earworms hard.
So bad.
Were you watching Family Guy?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. All right. Well, man, you really.
I don't know how much there is to talk about the song, but
probably nothing.
We'll just reference Family Guy for half.
Wait until we find out that the singer actually got caught with like 12 bodies in his basement and a mistress that he made out of paper mache and dead birds.
Ooh. Yeah. All right. Seems plausible for a surf band.
Why not? Why not? I mean, like the world has given us Gary Glitter, so I don't know if we're going to go into that one. I don't know that I want to veto. Well, I'm amazed because it's going how many times that's that rock and roll song part 2 is still played in arenas and games. Do they not know? But anyway, so with that, just now it's time to plug some things.
Ooh, sorry, you're talking about. Oh, okay, never mind.
I wrote a book. Did you know that? It's a great book. It's the best.
Is it a book about plugging?
No, but it's the best book I ever wrote.
Nice.
What was the second best book?
I haven't written it yet.
Okay.
It's about the late great Chavo Guerrero Sr. He helped. I helped him with his autobiography, and that's out on Amazon. Chavo Guerrero, instant classic. Check that out. There's other shows here in the Buchnerverse. There's going to be a whole lot of sports-related ones coming out this fall. 5 of the retro football review shows with my co-host on that one, Paul Lawrence. There is the classic sports review with Glenn Pulowski, where I don't even know that we're really, most of the time we're just really goofing on shit. It's probably the least professional. If you think I'm unprofessional in this show, you should see me the one I do with Glenn.
Is that about sports ball though?
Yeah, well, it's classics. Yeah. What did I say on one of them? We reviewed a roller derby thing, and what did I say about one of the contestants? I said, I'm not saying that she's got a lot of body hair, but I'm not saying that she doesn't. Just look like she could possibly be very hairy underneath that.
So Harry Bigfoot's taking pictures.
Yeah, but she's only 4'11". That was sort of interesting too, but that's neither here nor there.
Ewok territory.
Ooh. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. There's also the show I do with Evan Nolan, the weekly Hall of Fame show. There's where we look at Hall of Fame related news. I will be having a whole lot to say about that. We're also going to be doing eventually our cancel pool, which is getting very interesting, considering how many people have actually been canceled since we even decided to do this.
I know we could be racking up the points if we get on this. So we gotta get some rules in place so we can start making our picks.
All right. So Rachel Zegler, does that count? Because she just got canned from Paddington 3 today.
Oh, I didn't read about that.
Because they said, you know what, it's just not worth it. Well, I didn't say that. But...
I don't know about you, Andrea, but I'm starting to feel pretty shitty about Kirk cheating on us and then bragging about it on our show.
What, all the other shows I do?
Yeah, like walking home and telling your wife.
His other partners. It's
you
good.
can be on those shows. Hey, to be fair, I promote on those ones too.
No, I'm just saying, man.
It's
like walking home, telling your
brags.
wife about the chick you picked up at the bar.
Yes, it's a great thing that you just said that when my wife just walked in.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
It's more like you going home and telling your nesting partner about the new girl you're dating.
I don't have any of those. I put on a hoodie today to try to get a girlfriend to steal it.
Well, I think we're going to bid everyone adieu because the dogs here in the Buchnerverse are going a little bit mental. So they
hello,
are
mental dogs, and also hello, Pauline.
We haven't even seen Winnie today.
No, well, I gave Winnie a treat to keep her occupied, and that's
fair.
That seemed to work. And I didn't see how I could use Winnie as a prop on this one.
Yeah. Well, everybody got a little peek at Opal's nose there at one point. So
there you go. And Opal
good nose on that dog.
Opal didn't give you the most awesome pause face of all time today. Oh, wait till you see that.
Posy face.
I'm not looking forward to that episode.
No. So with that, on behalf of everyone here in the Buchnerverse, we bid you adieu.
Adios.
See ya.